Hey guys, this is Steven and Jake here from Chur Gaming, and today we're going to bring you a look at Defiance. It's an upcoming sci-fi based MMO, scheduled to be released on the PC, Xbox and PlayStation 3 on April 2nd. It's published and developed by Trion Worlds. We played the second beta event back in February, and it was pretty good, but we'll give you a rundown of it as we go through the video. There is a third beta date coming up, but details have not been announced. However, Defiance have announced on the Twitter, which you can find at Defiance Game, that details will be announced this week. So, without further ado, here is our opinion on the game.
Right, so what you're seeing here is, as you previously said, the second beta. This footage was recorded back in February, I think.
Yep.
And we are just going to be doing a just kind of a voiceover track of the footage you're seeing here now. This right now is, I think it's probably about an hour into the game.
Yeah, it was just after we had finished the tutorial.
Yeah, we had this, you get this little tutorial, kind of an introduction to all the mechanics. You get to pick a class, pick a primary power, and basically we just, once we moved past the tutorial, we were trying to party up with each other. This was quite difficult to do. However, this could be down to our unfamiliarity with the game. However, I feel that it could be implemented a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree, especially for the PC version. A system such as being able to add your friends' email addresses or login details to enable you to group up with that person would be much easier. Now, as it's beta, that could be something that they have implemented into the final game, but it wasn't present here, so it's something that should be noted. However, for the likes of Xbox and the PlayStation 3, I'd imagine it would be easier to group with friends, as you'd be able to invite them from the PlayStation network and, of course, the Xbox friend list, respectively.
And speaking of beta, you may have seen a bit of a pop in there. That is one of the few bugs, surprisingly, that occurs throughout this video. I don't want to be one of those people who's constantly calling out to this beta. I mean, you know for yourself, you probably will see a couple of bugs along the way.
Yeah, actually, this beta was surprisingly stable. I mean, even the servers were really stable. I mean, it wasn't even a case that there wasn't many people around, because there was. It was very active during the beta.
There were plenty of people, and I also noticed that there was almost zero latency. I saw no lag issues whatsoever. There's like 1 or 2 points I think in this video where there is like a jump, and that's about it, like a spike, and then that's the most you'll ever see.
Yeah, definitely the servers were very stable, which is a good indication to see that as I said, it was very busy even during this beta event. That it seems like try and have very stable servers, and hopefully that will not impact them on release date like other always online games.
Yeah, let's not name names here.
Nope, but it is a good sign, because one of the biggest points of an MMO is its launch. If it's successful, it will keep the majority of its player base, but if it's not, it could instantly ruin the game, and that's something I really hope already for this game. I really hope that they get their launch good, and with the way that the servers work during this beta event, it's a good sign.
Right now we're undertaking one of the story missions, I think it is. What you can see from the combat is that it's not really conforming to the MMO cliche of just kind of going up and wailing on your enemies constantly until they fall over. It's you really need to use cover. There's a lot of the enemy AI is quite responsive to the situation. They will use flanking tactics. They will there's like different variants of enemies, like enemies that will rush you, type of melee enemies. There's the two ones you saw up on the bridge there. They kind of be like just kind of a general soldier ones that would shoot at you. I know this may sound very kind of cliche or expected, but it actually is surprisingly well implemented for an MMO, and the shooting is very satisfying. I think I would compare how it plays out to, now I know this is a weird comparison, Mass Effect 2 gameplay. I feel that like a lot of the way the running works, the crouching, the cover, the use of cover, the kind of set pieces you'll be working in, the environments you'll be fighting in, feel very similar to Mass Effect 2, like the shooting mechanics and stuff like that. Additionally, the powers you get are quite similar. You have these 4 powers you can start off with when you're picking a class or a species. These classes or species, however, don't seem to have any impact on stats. I may be wrong, but it seems that no matter what species you could pick, like Stephen here has picked this kind of alien race from the game while I'm playing a human, you're still able to select any of the 4 abilities. I think they are a buff in firepower, a speed increase from which you can rush at enemies, invisibility, and there was one other. I can't quite recall what that one was. Do you remember?
No, I can't remember. Oh, wasn't it your decoy?
Decoy, yeah, yeah. So you send out like a hologram to distract enemies. Um, but these abilities aren't really tacked on in any way. I feel that they really add a lot to the gameplay and the kind of combat you'll be experiencing throughout the game.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. They seem more of a utility than a gimmick. With regard to the way the quests are done, while I can't say anything about the Mass Effect 2 side things, as you've mentioned, because I haven't played the game, I will say
Yeah.
it was very refreshing to play an MMO that doesn't have the same linear quest in the sense that you go here, you kill 20 people, quest done, well done. You go here, hey, collect this for me. It actually had actual missions which evolved and developed as you progressed through it, and that was it was a great way to actually immerse yourself, not only within the story of the game, but within the universe itself, because you pay more attention to what you're doing and where you're going and why you're doing something as well, because it has a knock-on side effect as you find out in the next evolutionary step of that quest.
You'll experience a lot of different types of missions. What we're doing here right now is the main mission, as I said. But on the map you can also see there's like a multitude of side missions and challenges and the like. The side missions themselves are obviously not as fleshed out as the main story missions. And you have these other challenges, ones like one I actually experienced now that you won't see in the footage. There's race missions in which you can get a vehicle to just race around a certain set of checkpoints along the map. There are missions in which you have to kill as many enemies. You will be given like an extremely powerful weapon and thousands of enemies in front of you. Obviously not thousands, but you know, like a huge amount of enemies in front of you to kill. And you have to see how many you can actually kill within a certain time frame, and there's built-in leaderboards to these specific challenges. Many of the side quests are just very small types of things, but they still hold their own in terms of adding more to your playtime of the overall game.
Yeah, unfortunately I actually never got a chance to play any of the side quests. But if they're anything like how the main quests are meant to be, I wouldn't expect them to be your stereotypical side quests. Once again, they follow the same. Like they sound quite fun from what you've mentioned, like almost reminiscent of, say, the Rampage missions from Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, it's actually kind of similar to those in a way.
So one thing that actually was really noticeable even during this beta, and now as you can see, this footage that you're seeing is run on a laptop that isn't necessarily, it doesn't have the full effect. It had most of them on it. It was pretty high spec graphically, but it wasn't full, and it certainly isn't what it may look like on the PlayStation or the Xbox. But graphically it looked really nice. It wasn't revolutionary or anything like that, but it was nice for an MMO, especially the bloom lighting, which hopefully you'll see later on in the video when like the street, not when the street, sorry, but when the sun is rising, or even when you see the street lights, it looks really nice, and it's a really good job that they've done even in this beta.
Yeah, earlier on now, before we recorded this footage, the sun was, the sun was setting because this was recorded at night time initially. And we were both raging that we didn't start the recording earlier. We both absolutely taken aback by this amazing vista you could see. The sunset was very impressive. I was actually shocked with how well done it was. They really make full use of the day-night cycles here. I mean, you get these really kind of vibrant mornings and sunsets and sunrises. And as Stephen was saying, the nighttime, I was saying the bloom is used in a very good way, like the street lights, the car lights, the fire. They give off a really strong effect. Nothing looks really dull or lifeless. Everything feels really kind of alive. And I think that even if it's a small feature, it really adds a lot to the game.
Even the character models themselves, they look they're not your standard character models. Each one looks slightly different. And they're not generic. Like you see that they're a type of mutant. They're not a generic mutant. They have little subtle differences which make them within its own universe, I suppose. Because this, for those that don't know, this game is also tying in with an upcoming TV series named the same thing, which will be shown on the Sci-Fi channel.
You may, later on in the video, you may be hearing a fair few comparisons to Borderlands as one we were really felt through and through. There is a lot of randomized loot, and you will be finding elemental weapons and the like. Enemies will drop shields, certain types of grenades similar to the grenade mods. The UI feels sort of similar, I suppose, like not like the UI you're seeing here, but like the kind of partying up system, the way the quests are structured. It does have a few comparisons to Borderlands, so I would keep that in mind. It's not identical in terms of gameplay, but if you liked the kind of the randomized loot aspect of Borderlands, the tiered kind of rarities of that of Diablo, or the yeah, just the kind of the elemental weapons and special effects you get on weapons, I would definitely keep a look at this game.
Yeah, definitely. They were really fun, especially since something you don't see very often. Well, except for say the exception Diablo is that the enemies also were using these special elemental weapons. So they'd have ones that would slow you down or would poison you or whatever, and it was actually really good. It meant you had to think a lot more about instead of just running and gunning like I do many times in this video, and you will see me die a few times in this video, but you had to really think about, oh, I actually do have to take cover or else you'll get slowed and potentially killed.
Yeah, it does add a few avenues to the how the game plays out.
One thing that should be noted, actually, since you brought up the UI, is that for a PC, I felt personally that it was very hard to navigate, and also it's very minimalistic, I suppose. It's not necessarily something that PC players would like. So hopefully they will bring out like the ability to make your own UI or at least modify it, as that would be really nice. But for a console, I felt that UI actually works very well. It's very easy to navigate because throughout this beta, I was using a controller, whereas Jake was using a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, you said it was surprisingly intuitive. It ran it quite nicely with the controller, didn't it?
Yeah, actually, it felt. I personally preferred it on the controller than keyboard and mouse, which is really odd because I've never really gotten into console-based MMOs just because I've never really gotten to grips with the controller. So that was surprising. But yeah, no, it was comfortable. It wasn't like, as I said, previous MMOs where they can't necessarily fit the whole UI or make the UI that fits the controller. But they've done a pretty good job of it on this. But my only concern then is that they've made it so as that isn't as good for the PC, or at least that's how I felt.
A little more on the vehicles, or basically these are the alternative to your mounts, or what you'll be using to traverse the world. We were given these quite early on, with pretty much full access to any vehicle, or every and any vehicle that was in the game thus far. I'm presuming this is obviously a beta feature, but the way the vehicles handle is actually quite nice. I was very happy with them. You can you have a key to just spawn it in front of you at any time, and if it's not used it will disappear, so people can't be infinitely spawning vehicles and cluttering up the world. They're great fun to get around the world on. They have a real kind of floaty physics to them, so they're a great enjoyment to actually get around on. There's different variants and stuff. There was only, I think, about 3 in the beta. I would hope for a lot more actually for when the full game is released. My only other complaint about them is that they feature this issue where when you collide with something, it pretty much just stops you on a dime, which can be a little annoying and kind of break the flow of your transport. But other than that, they are really fun to use.
To be honest, actually, as I just said in the video, when I was on them, I just drove through things for some reason. So again, it might just be a buggy beta feature, but I personally hope that these are available from when we got them, from after the tutorial, because as you'll see when I pop up the map later on, the map is huge, and even on the map when it looks like you're only going to be traveling a little distance, it's actually quite far they have to travel.
Yeah, the scale is quite surprising. We found ourselves driving for quite some time.
Yeah, especially seeing as this is only one world and or at least one portion of the world that you can access. The potential for this game, especially through expansions or DLC, is phenomenal. Like, I mean, this world could be opened much further, and it will give you so much more access to just everything. There's a lot of potential there for future content.
Speaking of DLCs, they actually mentioned that they had planned 5 separate deals. Actually, just to cut on that point there, this is a good overview of the world here. What we're scrolling through here, all this non-highlighted area is not playable at the moment. The highlighted area in which we were in is the play space at the time. We had we only played for a couple of hours. I was playing over the course of the 3 days. I probably clocked up about, I don't know, 5-6 hours on this. And the relatively small area you see back here, I couldn't even see half of it. I barely got to explore any of it. And there are much more missions and places you could look around. And there are small enemy camps and stuff like that, so you are rewarded for exploration in a lot of senses. So yeah, there's a lot. I have good hopes for the size of the area.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The scale and landmass that's available to you from the start is quite amazing, to be honest. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to when we have more access, or at least more time to access more of it. Because, as you mentioned, I mean, there's little hidden camps and everything. I mean, I want to see what else is actually in the world to discover.
Yeah, like I was saying, the 5 DLC packs they have planned already. I don't entirely agree with. I mean, they're only in beta now. They haven't even released it, and they've already got the 5 DLC packs planned. I don't entirely agree with it. I mean, this seems like they are, just monetizing content that could possibly be in the game. But if the that map size is presented there, if that is released, if that is presented on release, I think it's a more fair approach. But if that is turned into DLC, the stuff that you're seeing here, I don't know. I'd be skeptical in the way they're approaching it.
Well, speaking about that, now this is obviously something of contention, something that like a lot of gamers might be against. There is something to note about this game. This game, although it is console and PC based MMO, does not contain a subscription fee. It is a one-off purchase, and that's it. So even if they do that, say, yeah, DLC opens up a bit more of the map. How is that any different to say an expansion pack, which you would pay for any game, like any MMO? You always get new content or new this, that, and the other. So I don't really mind, especially since there's no subscription fee, as that's how they're going to make their money. And yeah, no, I'm absolutely fine with how they're doing that. As I said, the fact there's no subscription fee as well means that there's a chance that there is going to be a bigger community for this game, and that's important.
Yeah. No, I was actually I'd forgotten about that point there. Now, if it is free to play, by all rights, they are entitled to doing that.
Yeah, no, for everything I've seen and everything they've mentioned, there's going to be no subscription fee, so that is hopefully going to be a big point for gamers to look at, especially if they're thinking about checking this game out, because there's nothing worse than, putting down €40, £35 for an MMO, playing it for a month.
Charge for the content that you want.
Yeah, that's it. Well, even playing it for a month, your subscription for a month, that's an extra 13 quid or whatever, and then you don't like the game. At least not, it's one-off purchase. If you like it, cool.
Yeah,
if you ever want
invest to as you see fit.
Exactly. If you ever want to go back to it, you're not going to set up a subscription.
As we were saying there earlier about the size of the world, you may think that a huge world completely limits their ability to populate it, but that is certainly not the case from what I had seen. I love the amount of detail they've put into the environments with these crazy terrain in the post-apocalyptic Los Angeles. They have some amazing vegetation. The buildings, while some of them feel a little barren, I mean, it's a forgivable amount. It feels good enough in a gameplay sense. You're not looking for absolute micro detail in certain things, but I feel that the world is populated a good enough extent, and I think it really it's really vibrant for the size that they're presenting you with.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So
yeah, we've been in this camp for some time now. We're just trying to sort out. I think I'm leveling up and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, what I was doing was just getting on with the next mission and whatnot. You can see it's just part of the story, and naturally I skip it. Yeah. we just
wanted to show you what's going on here.
Yeah, we were just like, screw the story, we'll show you the gameplay.
And you will be hearing some lines of dialogue all the way throughout this now if we stop talking for a couple of minutes. And just to be aware that every bit of voice acting that you're hearing here is all temporary.
Yeah.
So while it might not be up to your standards, it's all temporary.
Yeah, it was all just placeholder for the beta. It's not going to be in, or at least the voice actors won't be in the final game, which that's fine. So don't make a judgment on the voice acting just yet. I personally actually still had no problem with the voice acting. I didn't mind it.
Yeah,
but
it's rough in a couple of places, but it's not the worst.
Yeah, there has been worse. So, I believe this mission we're going on to next is when we done the escort type mission.
It's the radio tower one, yeah. I think.
Yeah, the escort type mission.
That's a very good showcase of the weapons, a lot of weapons start to appear around that stage when we're killing enemies, and you'll start to see like how the different ones operate. And naturally, we pick the most difficult path to traverse there because the roads are just not good enough for us.
Yes.
We will scale the mountains on our ATVs.
Yeah, no, that was actually, although that was a good example of how bouncy and how the physics and gravity actually affect the mounts. As you can see, I can move the mount in midair to help position or help land it. So that's something to be aware, because not a lot of games actually allow you to do that with your mount, especially in MMOs. So it was actually, for me, as someone who plays a ton of MMOs, it was a really nice feature to have there.
The thing I like most about it is just, as I said, they were kind of floaty. It's just not too grounded in reality, so it's favouring gameplay over just trying to feel as authentic as possible. So when you're just bombing through quests and stuff like this and doing all this travel, you want to be having more fun than thinking, oh yeah, this feels like a real ATV or something.
Yeah, actually, I can't remember if we recorded it or not, but I remember at one stage me and Jake were just we spent about 10-15 minutes running over people consistently, just for laughs.
Running over people, just jumping off bridges and stuff like that. Yeah, they are very entertaining.
Yeah, it was a good laugh. They're definitely a higher point in the game, and as I said, I mean, you can see here that we've been traveling for a while to get to this quest. In fact, the map build is showing you now exactly how far we've traveled. And if you have to walk that will take you ages. I really hope that you do get the mounts from the start. But
exactly, yeah. It's kind of essential when you see the size of it. At least a starter mount anyway. You have to get something to move, because that is not, it's not fair to ask someone to walk as much as it requires.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm correct, actually, you're going to get to see me use my invisibility power very soon, as the objective of this quest was to go throughout the camp and disable the turrets, as you can see there with the white lines. So as you see now, I've just gone invisible. It's nice and easy. You can just sneak around, get rid of the power, I think, yeah, the generators, knock out the turrets. It's easy, but it's a good implementation of how your powers should work, or how you can use them to to give you an advantage in the quest.
Definitely. As you may have seen on the way here, there are a couple of small indicators for the side quests. They're kind of instance-based quests, so they'll be open to anyone who's traveling there at the time, and you'll be able to move along and just, undertake them at your leisure. Similar to those, you have the Arcfall events, which are a major part of the game. I think they have a pretty heavy involvement in the story. You'll get this red indicator that shows an event, and this will be global now. Everybody can see this, and everybody can undertake it, and it's kind of a big, almost horde-based or wave-based objective, where you have to fight off a lot of enemies around a stone, and you'll see it now in a minute. We will actually go up to it ourselves, and you can see a lot of people coming in to do this one objective, and if you complete it, I think you may have to complete a series of them, or you can just complete the one event, and you can earn some pretty good loot from it. So it's a very nice thing. Yeah,
the Arcfall events are actually quite similar to, if anyone has played Guild Wars or Trion's original MMO Rift, it's very similar to the dynamic events that used to occur in them games, but they are a hell of a lot more fun.
Right now we're escorting an AI, just trying to get her in here to complete the mission.
Actually, this is a good coming up is actually a good example of how the enemies also have the elemental weapons, because I believe I get stuck a good couple of times, and at the time I was wondering, what the hell, why am I going so slow?
It's this, they had this element called like Bio, which uses this weird tar type of element. If anyone remembers The Incredibles, it's like those weird black ball things that kind of stop you from being able to move. You can actually get them in two forms as well. I was pretty impressed. It doesn't happen in gameplay here, but I got a grenade that uses the same element. You throw it, it explodes, it sets out this big kind of tar patch, and if anyone who walks on it gets slowed a lot. It's very good. It's also nice to see that the elements aren't completely based on the generic, fire, ice type of deal. It's they have trying to be a bit more original about it as well.
Yeah, and again, this is only very early game footage. This isn't in no way later on footage. I mean, when you get to say the end of the game, end game content, such as I don't know what they're gonna have, if they're gonna have something similar to World of Warcraft raids, you know, where you go through certain instances with a group of so many people, or whatever. I mean, the amount of elemental weapons or even combination of weapons and armies you could get then should be interesting. I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing that.
It's fun from the very beginning, I have to say, and it really picks up the minute you start playing the missions.
Yeah, definitely. That was one thing that I believe we noted at the time, was how much fun it was to play this game. I mean, we both went in, me with being pretty seasoned veteran at MMOs, and you just being an all-round gamer. And I can't actually remember the last time I had so much fun playing an MMO.
It was good, yeah.
It was
a shame that the beta time was very limited, but I'm very much looking forward to it when it comes out.
I'm already looking forward to Beta 3, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to come out, because I'm just dying to play this game again, and that's, for me, that's a really good indication of either if I'm going to buy it or how it's going to go. You know, how well it's going to be perceived as well.
Throughout our playtime here now, Stephen was very unlucky with loot. I'm picking up like lots of different weapons. I think he's been stuck with this pea shooter for quite some time. I've got like this weird laser type of rifle and stuff. I just got set on fire by one of the enemy's elemental weapons, as you can see, and also using a double barrel shotgun. So like, not only do they have elemental variants, and they have kind of these sub-genres of, I suppose not genre's not the right word, but like instead of just general pump action shotguns, you can get auto shotguns as well. You can get double barreled, so there's a lot of potential for different types of weapons to be used.
Yeah, I'm also on fire, and as you can see, I actually die, and it's actually quite cool about dying. If you're with a partner, they can obviously resurrect you, which is pretty cool. But you have a self-revive, which is nice. You can use it once, I think, every hour or so. But that's a really nice thing to have there, because this game as well, I actually felt at the time, if you're playing it on your own, is also pretty tough.
Yeah, it's a very unforgiving game. It's one thing I had to note about it. It's not so much that it's just an unfair amount of difficulty, but it does require you to utilize all the tools you have, be it cover, grenades, or your abilities, as you've seen us to be using here. You really need to see what best suits the situation. Especially, it also comes into the elemental as well. I think later on here, during the Arcfall event, you got a acidic shotgun, I think it was, and you were trying to use them on the bugs during the Arcfall event, but they were sort of immune to it.
Yep.
So it also, you have to kind of look at that.
Yeah, no, that's actually something good to have there, that different insects have different strengths and weaknesses to different elements. Also, as I said, it brings more of a strategy to the game, and if they're going to implement that in, say, bosses, as I said, in instances or whatever, then that's good. You know, there's going to be a bit of a strategy to it. So if you're in a clan, a guild, whatever they're going to call them in this game, then that would be good. You have to coordinate your team, because that's something that I feel is missing from a lot of MMOs. Just the bosses are very generic, very easy to use, and very easy to beat. Sorry, with any setup. So I'm hoping there's more of that in the game.
You see, the game could have just simply asked us to protect Cass, who was up there in the radio station, working on this thing. They could have just asked us to sit in that room and indefinitely protect her until the time limit ran out. But it wanted to shake it up. It wanted to say, you know, you have to go out to the back of this place, reactivate the generator, go out and activate this circuit breaker as well, and have to deal with this huge new enemy as well, and get loads of loot off him. So it really tries to keep the missions as interesting as possible.
Yeah, definitely. As I previously mentioned, this is the whole evolution of the quests. The fact that, you know, you have to go off and do other things, and it's not generic like most other MMOs. So that is really nice, and it fits in really well when the game and when the universe that the game is set in. It doesn't feel tacked on or gimmicky. It feels natural. It feels like it should be there. So as you can see, we're just on our way back to protect Cass a little bit more. I believe the quest is, yeah, I believe I die here again, because I died a lot during this beta.
You get like really ambitious at certain points. There's a great point later on. You just dive into the fray. It's brilliant.
Yeah, but basically it's a good example though. You can't just run and gun in this game. There has to be an element of strategy to it. You know,
right here, you're getting affected by that weird slow element. There's like this one enemy with a gun shooting it at you. You can't even see him at any point, but he just keeps firing it at you, and so like you might get a good chance to see it there.
Yep, as you can see, there's like a black hue around me, I guess. That's the bio actually affecting me. As you can see, I can't actually run very fast. There they are, there. You got a brief glimpse at the little black balls on my feet.
So while it's I know we're sounding like we're just going freaking out about this, but it's more so that it adds the potential for a lot of these cool elements to be used in different ways, and the fact that enemies use them, not just the players. So the enemies aren't just these generic cannon fodder you have to waste with basic attack patterns. They will also use the stuff you can use as well.
Yeah, you do. As I said, it brings a lot of elements of survival and strategy to the game, which are really nice. Again, it's this weird mesh between an FPS and an MMO, but you do it really well.
Mm.
I really enjoyed how it actually meshed, and the fact that they went for it, because I've always felt trying to make two genres into one is quite a difficult thing, especially since MMO FPS has become more popular nowadays.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing to say, and yeah, this game done it really well. I was really happy with this game, and as I said, I'm really looking forward to getting to try this game again. I believe actually we're just about to end this quest. Yep.
Yeah, it does go on for a bit. Let me just bomb through this cutscene here. What you can see back there was the multiple different enemy types. You will be faced with enemies that will like rush you, melee type enemies who will run right at you. You'll be like, you'll have the huge enemy we saw earlier with the minigun, who's like really tanky and stuff, and then you'll have kind of basic rifleman enemies or shotgunners, even snipers as well. So there's a good amount of stuff there too.
Yep, I've actually just equipped the acidic shotgun as we got
Yeah.
as a that thing. You also get the elemental weapons as rewards from quests now. So
As well as loot, yeah.
if you're not as lucky as Jake regarding loot and drops, then you still have a good chance to get them. But we are heading off now to actually show you the Arcfall. Of course, I decided to do it backwards because
As stylish as possible.
why the hell not?
Yeah, we see some other guys joining us here now, trying to navigate the hills.
Yeah, it was a common thing. As you can see, there's a different mount there. It's more of a jeep than a little quads type thing.
And these do have different stats now, mind you. They're not just for purely cosmetic.
Yep. But now this is the Arcfall event we talked about earlier on, the randomly generated events. And as you can see, it's just kill 3 Hellbug waves, and this is wave 1. However, as you progress through the waves, harder and harder enemies also come out, which, I mean, it gets pretty intense later on. I remember that one of the bigger Hellbugs just knocks you away, and you're just...
Yeah, they knock you back, kind of.
Yeah, it's crazy. And especially on wave 3, it does go quite mad. I believe actually this bugged out on us in the sense that once we killed wave 3, it actually restarted, so we ended up doing it again.
Yeah. It's a great culmination of everything this game has to offer. I mean, it's got the amazing environments you'd expect. What happens is when you get into the Arcfall events, you start to see like these crazy weather. You'll see like lightning above you, and there's a huge meteor shower, which you'll actually be seen at the end. Everybody kind of bands together and comes in with all of the elemental and amazing weapons they've gathered over the time, and just starts unleashing hell and everything they can on these waves of enemies. And you have these massive amounts of enemy variants and types, and huge quantities as well. So yeah, by wave 3 it gets pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, a good thing as well is that when you kill one of them, they drop ammo. So during these events, you can just let loose. I don't think I ever ran out of ammo during this.
As we soon find out, the acidic shotgun is not the best.
No, it was very poor for this type of situation. Also, you'll actually notice that the elite Hellbugs are much harder to kill and have much more health. I mean,
some enemies like that will actually have different abilities as well.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, as we were doing this, we were just looking around going, what the hell is going on? Or what the hell do we shoot?
Yeah, it was quite intense, alright. We just kind of got overwhelmed, so it was more or less just shoot anything that moves.
Yeah, pretty much. But it was so good, and as Jake said, it's a good combination of everything that this game has to offer. Some amazing, even the detail of the enemies here, they're unique. Unique monsters, they're not rehashed, they're not mutants again, but they look good. They don't look like anything I've seen in the game before. Now, some might say, make reference to them as being similar to the Locust from Gears of War, but I personally feel that they look very unique and very good. I again, they fit within alongside the mutants in the art style of the universe.
As you can see up there, we've got a time limit as well, so like if you do not complete, I had an experience with this now a while back when all kind of off footage. If you don't complete it within a certain time, you've obviously failed, and it's awfully disheartening to fail after so long going on these, because they can actually be some proper endurance tests. Because as Steven said, they are supplying you with ammo, so it's more or less unlimited. Although it just ended there, coincidentally enough. It was finished there with a bang, quite literally.
But as I said, it did book out for us, and we actually got to do a full length one of it, and it was a hell of a lot of fun. I mean, it is just the same thing repeated again. As you see, it's it's actually
it's a bonus
it's
wave.
a bonus wave.
Yeah.
This one was insane because it was basically like they took the last 3 waves and was like, you know what, we're gonna give you them all at one time.
Yeah, you got these eggs like that you have to destroy before they spawn and everything. It's pretty freaking intense.
Yeah, there's no way in hell you could actually kill them all at the same time unless you had at least 30-40 players, which is good though, because as I said, in the actual environment, that has the potential to be so much fun.
It's not even skipping a beat here either. I mean, in terms of latency or frame rate, it's all holding together pretty well.
Yeah, and as I said, I was playing this on a laptop. I wasn't even playing it on a desktop, and it held so well. I mean, this is at 1280-720, which is probably the resolution, or at least the amount of detail you get on the consoles. So, but I mean, even at that, it looks great. It performed quite well, and my laptop isn't the most powerful of ones either. It was surprising how well this game played. How well it performed.
You will be getting some pretty decent rewards as well for all the amount of work you'll be doing on these as well.
Yeah, I mean, every time you complete the Arcfall event, you get a ton of XP. You get obviously ammo, money, and I think the chance to pick up elemental weapons.
All the drops that will come with it as well, yeah, during the event, because it's not shared loot in the sense that I think World of Warcraft did it. So it's not everybody has to do a big mad rush or compete over loot. It's all based entirely within the player's game.
Yeah, no, that is agreed. World of Warcraft had a shared loot system, which is fine. It works for that type of game, but for this type of game, yeah, it's your own loot. It's more similar to how Diablo does it, which is it's great. I mean, it means that you don't have to worry about not getting something. Of course, there is the chance that nothing will spawn for you, bar money and experience. But at least you know that someone else won't be getting the weapon that you wanted on purpose.
Yep.
They might still get it, but it's just by random chance.
Additionally, these Arcfall events might sound obvious, but they're not exclusive to these Hellbugs. There's like lots of different types of Arcfalls with different variations in them. Way across the map, I played a different Arcfall event with more human type of enemies and stuff. Like, have these crazy raider types up in kind of up the north. As you traverse across the map as well, you get a really good look. They're trying to recreate I suppose a post-apocalyptic LA, almost one that's starting to get reclaimed by the mutated wildlife as well. So you get to see like old farming areas and stuff, old like camping resorts and all that have just kind of been weathered by all the new vegetation that's popping up.
Yeah, no, completely agree. So yeah, we're just about to show you here actually, as you can see, we've just finished the Arcfall event and we're signing up for some matchmaking. We're just basically, we're going to go into an instance, and they were pretty cool, but in a second I'm going to look up and you'll get to show the meteor shower that we talked about earlier, and it just looks awesome. Again, it's a great example of the detail that is in this game. The matchmaking itself, as you say, it's very easy menu. All you do is someone signs you up, your other group members say yeah sure, and then you're in the queue, and it's handy like that. It's actually really easy to do.
Yeah, it was very straightforward and simple, surprisingly enough now, versus adding the people. Actual matchmaking is quite simple. You just literally go into that quick menu and jump into any of the instances you might want. You've got like straight up multiplayer, you've got co-op matches, and we are joining a co-op match now in a minute.
Yeah, these were proved to be very difficult. Very scripted, but very difficult. But the instances generally are scripted, unfortunately. But my god, the difficulty of the enemies, and again, they also progressed in a way that it wasn't necessarily you have to defeat the boss at the end. This one was about finding something, and bringing it through the map, and then fighting the enemies and waves enemies that you encounter along the way. And as you can see, we're joined actually by more people we've never met, which is good. It's good the way they actually set up the matchmaking system, because some matchmaking systems can be quite flawed and stuff like that. Whereas this one I felt actually performs rather well.
And it's good. It's good in the sense because as an MMO, some newer players might struggle to find their bearings, or even get kind of a consistent party or clan to go with. However, the co-op serves as a great way to kind of match you up with two other people, and if you play well together and like enjoy your experience together, you can add these guys and go back into the world, join into their world, and just basically continue on with the open MMO world with them.
Yep, I completely agree. Just another thing to say about the controls actually. As I was using my controller here, you might see that I'm quite accurate with it. That's because there seems to be an auto aim function on it, and it is ridiculously accurate, which actually wasn't as fun as you might think. Hopefully that won't be in the full game, or at least it won't be as accurate, because I basically just aimed kind of roughly at them and pointed at the aim button, and I was locked onto him. It was a bit ridiculous, to be honest with you.
Did they have a possibility to disable that?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing that in the options. Hopefully there is though. Or if there's not, hopefully there will be something in it. It's not a big thing. It's not something I'm sure a lot of players will mind, but it's something to be aware of.
Yeah.
But
these co-op missions effectively serve as they're about as detailed as like the main story missions, so the developers put a lot of care into them, but you can just jump into them at any time to have a bit more of a fleshed out mission experience with like multiple objectives, different enemy types and all that. So it's a good way of earning loot and just having fun in the meantime. If you feel that you maybe, I suppose, don't want to travel to a really far off objective, you think maybe I'll just go for a co-op mission in between.
Yeah, and once again you actually see that the developers have taken a lot of care with these. I mean, the models, once again, they're completely different models. There's a lot of care gone into this, and the instance itself is like structured rather well. It looks really good. I mean, what they've tried to do with this, it looks great. And once again I died, and actually there's an example of the self-revive.
There's also an example of us getting messed up pretty bad by these.
Yeah, as I said, these instances were tough. I don't know if we were underpowered or anything like that, but, or maybe this is an example of how if you're not working together, or not structuring your attack with your other group members, that you can just get plowed.
Yeah, we were a little headless about it. I don't know. This was the only co-op level that you could do in the beta as it stood, but I'm guessing there will be more kind of level appropriate co-op missions, or at least they can like scale the difficulty based on the group's level when the final release.
Yeah, I'd imagine they'll add more and more the higher you progress through your levels. That's a pretty standard thing with MMOs, and hopefully that's how they'll do it, because I mean, even this one, even though we didn't get to finish it, was a hell of a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, we barely got to experience even half the content that there was available.
Yeah, it was insane how much content is available, and that's when that one little subsection of an entire map, which is amazing to think of the potential for, as I said, future releases, future content, and even the content that you're going to be given access to from day one.
I don't know if you can see this, but one of the guys in our group has this incredible remote grenade launcher, which you can stick multiple grenades onto one person and like detonate them as he feels fit. So they're definitely not cutting short on the amount of weapon types or variations you can use in this game.
No, it is rather spectacular how much you can do in such a small game. Well, I wouldn't even say a small game, but in a new game.
Especially like in a limited beta, because I mean I don't think they were showcasing all that much, and they certainly didn't give you a lot of time to experience it. But you saw
unfortunately the 2 days, they gave you 2 days, I believe, from the week, the 11th till the 13th of February or something stupid like that, and it was literally 48 hours to check out the beta, and we got so little done. But what was probably the best thing about the beta was after it was over, after we couldn't access the game anymore, I personally was left wanting to play it more.
Yeah, very disappointed.
I was disappointed that I wasn't able to play this game anymore. And for me, as I said, as someone that's played a hell of a lot of not only MMO betas but MMOs in general, that was such a good indicator for me as if I wanted this game or not. And I'm pretty happy actually going out buying this game.
And I swear to God, this is not scripted at all. But like, I'm coming from the perspective of someone who rarely plays MMOs or doesn't enjoy the many of the ones that I have played. I was feeling just the exact same. I wanted to come back to this because it had a nice, idea of an MMO aspect, good online integration. However, it also has the core aspect you'd expect from a good shooter now, not just any shooter, but an actual good third-person shooter, and utilizes all the elements you'd expect from it. So it's a good combination of these two genres, and will most likely be easy for anyone to actually get into.
Yep. Alright guys, I believe this is going to be the end of our video. For me, I'm just going to give it a quick score now. Remembering I was playing with an Xbox 360 controller, 720p. I would give this game, the beta that we played, probably a 8 out of 10 if they can fix the glitches, improve a better friend invite structure for the PC, and just generally tighten up the game a little bit, improve that auto aim a bit, that it's not as accurate. I feel that this could be potentially an amazing game. However, saying that, I still feel that this is probably one of the best console MMOs I have ever played. In fact, that's going to be coming into the world without a subscription fee. I personally think if you can get a hold of it or you can play it somehow, check this game out because it has the potential to be great, and if the community get actually behind it, this game could go on for a very long time.
Yeah, now in terms of beta score, I'd easily give it from like 8 to 8.5. I had a lot less issues than yourself, I think. I had very little complaints with this game. Just to be aware, a lot of the stuff you're seeing here, as we said, it was recorded quite some time ago, so it could have moved on potentially quite a lot by the time Beta 3 is released. And do check out Beta 3 as well. Keep your eyes on the Twitter to see when the announcement date is.
Yeah, you can get it at their Twitter at Defiance Game. But something to be aware is that they have mentioned that a beta is going to be coming out for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox, and so far it's only been PC beta, so the likelihood of next one being on the PlayStation or Xbox is quite high, and if it does, I do urge you to try and check this game out, even if you only use it as a demo to see if you're going to be interested in it or not. With such a combination not only of so many successful aspects of many games, but its own unique universe and the way that it plays, this is an MMO that should be looked at.
Yeah, definitely give it a look if you get the chance, guys. It's an amazing title.
Alright guys, this has been fun. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then like us on Facebook at facebook.com/maturegaming, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/maturegaming, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Take it easy guys.
See you.
Alien scum!
Leave it.
Bartender, give me a drink. What the hell are you looking at? Everybody be cool! Protect the arc fall!
Eyes open.